Hello everyone. Welcome to another stream. How's it going? Happy weekend, happy Saturday. How are you? How are you? Am I audible? Can I get some thumbs ups in the chat just to make sure everything is working as expected? All right. Let's see. How are you? How are you doing? Let's see. How's everyone doing? Hey, Siva. How's it going, Siva? How's your weekend? Ba-ba-ba-ba. Complete guide to this and that. I'm just removing some applications I've opened. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to another stream, everyone. Happy weekend. Happy Saturday. Belated Eid Mubarak to anyone who observes it. Ba-ba-ba-bow. Let's see. Dun-dun-dun. So, vibe coding, what do we build today? I do have a couple of things that we could look into. I'm going to try to fix my microphone in the meantime as well. So give me a couple of seconds. But how is it going for every one of you? Hey, Mahesh, how's it going? Happy weekend to you as well. I was working with some Tailwind CSS stuff yesterday, and it was horrible. Just migrating to Tailwind CSS version 4 was too big of a struggle, to put it lightly. But I was finally able to do it, especially with Angular and Angular, NX, and Tailwind CSS 4. So all of those together, yeah, it took me quite a lot of time. Burak, hey, how's it going? Happy weekend to you as well. Where is everyone tuning in from? I'm gonna double check if my channels are good. All right, there we go. Code with Asen is streaming on. So we have Rumble, we have Twitch as well. Seems to be fine. I'm gonna software and game development. Just setting a couple of things in the stream settings, but feel free to ask any questions in the meantime. Description. Okay. How to use ng model with signals? Good questions. It's actually quite easy when you do so. I'm gonna try to share my screen. It's actually pretty easy. But I can show you one example really quick. Am I perfectly audible, by the way? I'm going to adjust my sound settings in just a bit. But let's see if I can also set this correctly. Okay, I'm gonna change the setting. Let me know if you can hear the clapping sound. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the clapping sound. Let's scale this a bit. I'm gonna adjust the radius a bit more. Yeah, let's go with this. All right. Good. Okay. So you mentioned creating and working with Angular signals, right? So what you could do is, let's say, um, we could ask Bolt to create a new application for us. So we can say create a simple to do application with Angular 19. So let's call it like that. Use Tailwind, CSS, and Daisy UI. And there we go. We are looking into vibe coding now. I'm gonna quickly come back. I have to warm this thing up while you see what's happening. Alrighty, I'm back. So yeah, we have the to do, we have the application created. Alrighty, so Borak says your sound is great. Clap sounds good. Good. So you asked how can we implement um, signals with ng model, right? So what you can do is if you create an Angular application with Bold New, you can essentially export that and click open in its stack blades. So you go here. And a quick note to the editor as well later on, you can also convert this into a tutorial. So now we are opening this in StackBlitz, and StackBlitz uses something called web containers. I think StackBlitz probably was, or at least from what I know, it was the first one or one of the first ones to introduce web containers, so which runs in the browser isolated. And here you can see we have a terminal, we have all those things as well. So it's pretty cool what they came up with. So now we have the to-do application working in StackBlitz. It's not on Bolt New. This is Bolt, and this is StackBlitz. So StackBlitz allows you to also code and see the changes in real time. So what you would do here is, if you go to, I think in main TS, probably it would have implemented it here. No, it has not. So if you see here, what it has done is essentially using the key up enter on the input. It uses a template variable here to do input. So it's not using ng model in this case. I'm not really sure why it added the forms module in the first place. It doesn't use forms here. But when you look at it, and I'm going to hide the message for now. So when you look at it, it uses a template variable. When you press enter, then it takes the value of the to-do input.value and passes it to add to-do, right? Then it also resets the value here as well. On the other hand, when you click this button, it does the same thing. So it calls the add to-do with the template variable's value and then resets it. So it basically does the same thing twice, or it's handling it in a way that it's doing it on key enter and then also doing it when we click the button. That's not the right way to do. Ideally, you should be using a form here, and you should be using the Angular sort of forms API, including the ng model, to do all of this. So instead of doing this, I'm going to zoom out a bit, but I hope you can still see the screen. Can I get some thumbs ups in the chat if you see the code well? Otherwise, I would have to zoom in a bit. So this is one of the ways to do things, and it's a valid way in some sort, but not the recommended way, I would say. It's still. So instead of using this variable, you're gonna remove the variable here. And first, let's try this out. First, let's say if I say new to do, does it actually work? If I hit add, you can see the new to do comes here, right? And I can delete that as well. Now let's try this without the variable where we are going to use ng model. So first of all, you need to go into your component, and here we are going to create a new variable for which is a signal, which essentially is what you asked Burak. So here you say, for example, new to do text, and here you can say signal, and you can import this from Angular core, and then you basically give this as an empty string. Now this is automatically typed as a writable signal of type string, as you can see here. Now what you can do is, instead of using this variable here, you can go and use the ng model, and for that you would also want to have this forms module imported. Now bold.new automatically imported this for us, so we are good here. So you can essentially go here in the input, and then if I'm correct, you can do ng model. If I'm correct, it's either this way or the other way around. I almost always forget what the proper way is. I think it probably is this. We'll see. We'll get the errors otherwise. So when we do ng model, we can assign it to the signal. So it was new to do, what was it? New to do text, right? So we do new to do text. We're going to do this and save and see if it shows us any error. So here it says to do input does not exist on app. That kind of makes sense. Now we need to remove this key up enter. So this whole thing, it goes away. Then this click also should go away from here as well. And this button should have the type set to submit, right? Then what you can do is, and I'm going to save this at the moment. Now you can see here, it shows this ng model thing as an issue. So here you can see, yeah, so I did it wrong. So it should be square brackets outside and the other one inside. So I wrote it correctly the first time. So here it should be like this, right? So let's save this. We'll see if there are any errors. So no errors. It compiled successfully, right? Banana in the box. I forgot about that. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing it. And that also shows that even if you are a Google developers expert in Angular, which I am, you can forget sometimes, and that's okay. So nothing to worry about there. All right. So now we have the banana in the box thing here. New to do text bound to it as well. Now what we want to do is we want to use this inside a form. So what we'll do is we'll say form, and once you try to use this inside a form, you also need to have this given a name as well. So you give it a name and you say new to do text or something like this. It doesn't really matter. Now when you have this, you can save this, and then you need to put the ng submit thing here. So ng submit, and here you can say when ng submit happens, you do add to do, and in here you can give the new to do text, and you provide the value right here, just like this. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention here is that when you're using signals with the ng model, you just provide it as the signal itself. You don't provide it as the value here. So that's not the correct way to do it. You need to provide it as a signal itself or as a reference itself. Now let's try this out. So now if I try to go here, and this is me without debugging anything. So let's say if I say test to do, hit enter, you can see that it gets added. Good. And then we also can try this via click as well. So new to do, and when we say add, you can see new to do also gets added, right? So our thing works as it should. Now what we could also do is when we do the add to do text here, we essentially go ahead and say this dot new to do text dot set, and here we set it to empty. So we add to do, and then we set this to empty string. So we get rid of the input itself, or we reset the value here. So we say new to do and you hit enter. You can see that it automatically gets removed, and then we can proceed from here as well. One more thing that I would probably do if this was an application that someone would use is when I click here, it should actually mark this as done as well, but that doesn't happen here at the moment. So what you would want to do is you would want to put this text here as well, this text that we have as a label, so to say, and either that, or you could put everything inside a label, or this input and span in a label as well, or this whole li could wrap a label as well. It depends. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to label. And then I'm going to also say for, and then give it some ID. So here I can say to do text input, just giving it an ID, and here giving this here as well. So let's save this. Let's ensure this looks like this. Let it rebuild, and now I can go and say test, add here, and if I click here, you can see that it marks this as done or not, because that's what we want to do. You may also want to have something like I don't know, a class that says user select none, something like this. What is the class? Tailwind CSS user select none, and we have this right here. It's select none. So let's say select none. Save this. So it doesn't end up selecting the value when we double click or do click there. So test, add, and now you can see that even if I do click here, it doesn't select the text compared to what we had before, which was something like this. So you see the text gets selected. I don't really like that. So let's put it back. All right, Burak, I think that answers the question. You can also put cursor pointer as well. Yes, good. So it also shows you that it's clickable, of course. So test, and now you can see this highlights it. You may also want to add some sort of hover effect on this as well, to be honest, just for a bit more interactivity. But I think so far it's not too bad. It's good. Alrighty. So I hope that answers the question. Siva says, I'm good. I just want to ask you something. What is the future of Angular? I mean, it looks okay to me. Do you have any concerns, or why do you ask? Because Angular itself is being updated pretty nicely. It has been supported for quite a long time now. It has a great community. It also is used actively in Google itself. So a lot of applications in Google itself uses Angular. So they have to basically keep it up to date and also make sure that it's bug free, make sure it's optimized, performant, because obviously Google. And then I think when it comes to just having like a mindset of constant improvement, Angular team is right there. It keeps evaluating better ways to provide better developer experience, as well as performance, as well as the overall ecosystem of Angular itself. So I think what's great about Angular is the process of involving the community. So there are requests for comments on the new features that come up. So that also helps the people be like part of the decisions as well. And I think that's really amazing. I hope that answers the question. And if anyone wants to try this out, I can share the link in the chat. And you should be able to fork it. And you can see the link in the chat as well. Awesome. Where are you watching the stream from? By the way, have you watched the Angular NestJS tutorial so far? People seem to like it. And that reminded me of editing, providing the cards as well. Siva says India. Awesome. We're in India, by the way. And Burak says Germany. You're pretty close to me. I'm based in Sweden. Let's have a look at the cards. I needed to update the end screen to include the video that should be the part 2, which is this one. So let's update that. So whoever finishes the first video goes to the second video. Mahesh of vlog says Hyderabad, India. Oh, nice. Awesome. One of my parents is also from India, from Hyderabad. Thanks for the little course. Is in NestJS, is it possible to not possible to use inject like in modern Angular, and use standalone component instead of module? I don't think so. Does NestJS inject service? I think the only way of doing it or using the providers is to add via the constructor, right? Not the inject method. I don't think so. You have read-only cat. So this is a cat service, and yeah, you just do it. It's like classic dependency injection. I don't think so. No. Not NES. Only supports the classic constructor. Based dependency injection. Also, since we don't have components in NestJS and rather controllers or resolvers, use modules. Their current okay. Architecture. What am I writing? Burak says, da shonen wir auch Deutsch reden. Are you asking, can I read Dutch or no? I'm really bad with Swedish, by the way. So I don't know what you're talking about. Jag kan prata lite svenska, men jag kan också förstå lite svenska. Men jag kan inte språk fluently. I don't know what you call fluently, but I understand. I hope you understand a bit. So I'm not there yet. Maybe in a year or two. Aliasgar says, Sindh, Pakistan. Nice. Where in Sindh, by the way? Maybe we can also create, I don't know. What do we do with vibe coding today? Do you want to see how we can, maybe I asked that we can speak German. No, I can't. I can't yet. Maybe soon. I think once I have a good grasp of Swedish, maybe I can try dare to do that. Yeah, that's what Burak says. Okay. So what I wanted to do was, I was wondering if I can move the course to here. So we have the YouTube video here, right? And in here, you can see we have a bunch of courses. We have Practical React JS Essentials. We have Web Development Basics. We have Full Stack TypeScript course as well. All of these courses are on my website, and they are for free, of course, because most of them are just YouTube videos. So when you go to the particular website, you essentially have a course that is outlined, but it uses the YouTube videos. So if I go here, you can see it's essentially looks into this. Then if I go here and play, essentially just play from the timestamp. So if I go here, then it moves ahead. So yeah, this is something that I implemented myself. But essentially, you can use a YouTube video as a course on my website. So what I can do is I can post or try to push this course actually to my site, but I don't know how that would work, to be honest, because in the past it has been just one video, if I remember correctly. Or we would have something like if it's 3 videos, then I would have 3 parts on my course. But in this case, I have like a lot of timestamps as well. So I would want to have all these timestamps, like integrating Prisma, defining Prisma schema, all of this. I don't know how we could do that. So Cello says, hi, I noticed you using Signal Store. Have you considered showing how to use with entities and Rx resource, etc.? I don't think I've used Rx resource with entities, to be honest, but this is something I could take a note of and then I can add that, to be honest. I did have a video on Rx resource, but I haven't built something that then incorporates both of them together. So not with entities and the other thing together. So I think if we go to content, we did have a video, which is this, Angular's new thing called resource and Rx resource. I can maybe share a link here, but I'm assuming you already know how to use Rx resource. But with entities, I haven't done it yet. Do you have a particular application that you want this to be implemented in, or what are you looking at? So I sorry. So I have a couple of things that we could do right now. It's just some random task. This stream is primarily for question and answers, to be honest. I don't have a concrete tutorial for today. But what we could do is, I still have to push. I still have to create a video, not a video, but a post for my newsletter for the course that we have here. But I'm wondering if I can create the post for the course in a manner that I can update the web version of it later on. But I want to generate it with AI. Should we try doing that? Should we try creating a post for the newsletter using AI, Google Gemini Studio? And it's using Pro Experimental. Okay, I think I'm not gonna refresh because I think then I'll lose it. So I'm still gonna keep it. But I want to try this feature. Have you seen this feature called YouTube Video in the AI Studio? I think that's super cool. So what we can do is we can copy this link. And what I'm gonna do is, let's go to the AI prompt here. I'm gonna give this the link so it can fetch. And I think this is the part 1, right? Part 1 out of 3, right? So we're gonna add that to the prompt. So we have how many tokens? Oh, we have too many tokens. No, that's not good. Num, 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 num. I have to refresh, I think, because this one is gone. The experimental one is gone. But now we have this. And this is not the token count I'm looking for. What about Flash? The Flash also has the same token count. What about 1.5 Pro? So in this one, I have much bigger count, so to say. If I add a prompt here, let's see what happens. Sarah says, looks like a nice match with props. Looking at the emerging patterns, really. Exactly. All right, so here it essentially comes under the token limit, which I think is good for me. Let's see if it can generate a nice post for me. So I'm going to say generate a nice blog post for me, highlighting what we built in this particular application or tutorial, so to say. Also mention that the other two parts are going to come soon. This is going to be sent via an email. So format nicely and will become a post as well using the Beehive app. Okay, so I'm saying it. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm looking at the question now. What does the question say? Why don't you make a video tutorial on rich text or HTML editor like Quill? I tried out Quill text editor to create a blogger for that, so everything was good, but whatever the output that editor gives, I was unable to display the content page because when I sanitized the HTML content, whatever the styles I added in the editor, that style class are removed. I don't know why. I think it's hard to answer, to be honest. When it comes to why don't I create videos on this and that, I think it's really hard to create videos on everything that's possible. So I tried to look into my backlog, which has a bunch of requests from people who have asked like create a tutorial on this or that. And this NestJS, Angular NestJS was something that a lot of people asked. I don't know how many times. So we are going with this at least at the moment, but we may add more tutorials as well. But I think the editor is something that's very specific. I don't think, because one of the things that I also try to do is I try to create videos have which have a bit more sort of target audience. So I'm not really sure if everyone is going to use a rich editor. A lot of people may use it in their applications, but not everyone. So I try to stick to the basics that is sort of aligned with a lot of people. Otherwise, it's not a lot of people are going to be benefited from it. Musab says, Assalamu alaikum, Hasan bhai. Walaikum assalam. Question regarding CSS, but for that I need to send a free pick link. Can I insert the link here? I can't explain the question unless I send the design. I'm not really sure. I don't think you can send a link in the chat. If you're on Discord, you can maybe send it there on the Discord channel. The question is, how do you insert waves like these? I'm not specifically talking about the wave divider that people insert either at the end or beginning of a section. I don't know if this is done using ClayPath. I think you can use something like CSS wave generator. There's so many. I think get waves is the one. So you can use something like this for. So you can take this as an SVG. Oh, I'm sure you're not seeing this. So this is getwaves.io. I don't know if you have tried this out, but you can try this, generate the SVG, and apply this as a background, if that's what you're looking at. So this comes like a background in that case, and you can also decide like the opacity as well, I think. What if I do 37? So here you can see the opacity also gets changed as well. So you can make it something like this, download it as SVG, and then apply. I'm going to share the link in the chat, at least here. So this is the link. And if you go to bio.link with code with Hasan, you can find all the links that I have. So you can see, I think somewhere here we should have the Discord as well. So here the Discord community. Let me see if this still works. I think it should be working. I'm going to share the link in the chat as well. Yeah, so feel free to join the community. I'm not really too active there because I don't get the time, but you can still get in and share the link if you want. Alrighty. So where were we? All right, so it has come up with a post. Build a full stack app with Angular and NestJS. All right. So we've gotten this. Let's try creating this in app beehive.com. Let me quickly grab my passwords as well. So here we should have beehive. We got this guy here, and then device confirmation code. That's not good. All right, let me see if I get it. Nope. What is the code? Okay, so it's should I send the post on chitchat or where? Yeah, you can send on chitchat. I can have a look there. What has the fresh look? Template library, okay. Newsletter editor. Template editor. Okay, I'm gonna look at that later on. But let's see. So we go and okay. This is new actually. I didn't see that before. Classic editorial tech roundup. What does this look like? Use template. Preview. Oi. Not too bad. Preview. Yes. Inherited style from the newsletter builder. Okay. Let's go with this. Let's see. Musab says I've sent a photo. Yeah, I'm going to look at that in just a bit. Give me a few seconds. So we try to see how this would look from a Gemini perspective. So let's quickly copy this guy. We're gonna replace this thing completely. All right. Let's copy this thing as well. For the thumbnail, we're also gonna add that as well. I think let's actually go to Canva and I'm gonna let it load. And we're gonna go with this guy. I'm gonna duplicate it. In the first one, we remove this. We bring this a bit here. And then we try to download this guy. So this, and let's have a look at let's go with that. Let's have a look here. Where is chit chat? That's not what I wanted to do at all. Disconnect. Chit chat. Interesting. This one. I think you can still have this. You would have to have a couple of things here. So you have to have an element behind. So the full image should be behind. Then you would have the SVG that we said. It's also going to be full width and full height, or at least per screen size. Or you could also use the calc method in CSS to subtract the header height. But use the same thing for all of this. So a full image, then the whole SVG, and then this div that comes on top of it. So we're talking about 3 different things. That's what you could do, to be honest. Or you could also do it in a way that you download the SVG from GetWaves and then move it to something like Canva or something, and essentially then edit the image there as well. So you could also do that. So you either make this like a one asset, or if you want this to be really responsive, then you're gonna have a full image, then a full SVG, and then this text on top of it. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. Upload a new image, and we go to downloads. We go with this guy that we had. Okay, so there we go. Awesome. In this tutorial series, I'll be walking you through the process of creating fully functional pet e-commerce application. I'm gonna add some pause here. Pet application from scratch using Angular, NestJS, and Postgres. This app will become complete e-commerce solution, allowing users to browse products, add items to their cart, manage their orders, payment by Stripe. In the first part of the series, we'll set up project, blah, blah, blah. As we progress through the series, okay. I think kind of makes sense. Let's see. That's the email part. Okay, interesting. Interesting. So let's see. So we go ahead, we change this guy. So here we have part one, setting of the funnel, enhancing the user experience, coming soon, securing the application. Not really, I think. I want to change it a bit, actually. So we have the part 1. Okay, and then we should have part 2 as well. Part 2. Let me see if it allows me to add the token for the second video. I don't think it will, to be honest. I don't think it will allow me to have another one of those, because it takes so many tokens. If I go to the latest one, to video analytics, go here. Okay, so a couple of people have started looking into it. That's good. The views are less than usual because since this is the second, I'm looking at the camera's battery as well. So since this is the second part, people usually don't watch the second part as much. They go to the first part usually, which kind of makes sense. So let's see. Copy the link here. If I try to add another YouTube video here, I think it's gonna start crying because it's gonna be too much. See here. See? It's actually, yeah. It's actually 1 million over. Token count has been exceeded. So we don't really want to do that. Setting up the foundation. So let's do it like this. I'm gonna go back and back. So this one. Yes, and I'm gonna quickly setting up the foundations here. We're gonna quickly add the YouTube video here. So this is part 1 of 3. Part 2 is essentially implementing orders and Stripe payments. We also did something else as well in the second part. We did create, okay, implementing products list. And Stripe payments. So essentially we did all of that. And let me quickly copy this. And then we go here. Right? Ooh, okay. So here I can essentially say in the second part, we implemented the products list page, the product card component, the checkout page, the cart component and adding items to the cart, the checkout page, and Stripe payments. Finally, we also deployed the front-end application on Cloudways, working seamlessly with with the deployed backend app on the same Cloudways instance. Okay, part 3 I think is going to be coming soon, so we just say part 3 coming soon. All right, Angular, NestJS, Prisma, Firebase, GraphQL, and Postgres, right? What I also want to do is we're gonna do, I think I already have the application, the image, and make, let's add image here. So we're gonna upload an image, and that's gonna be, I don't have it here. Interesting. Why don't I have it here? I thought I downloaded it, but did not. Let's quickly export this. So we're gonna say export image, copy to clipboard. No, let's copy the dark mode one. Wait, let's copy the dark mode here. Copy to clipboard. And now if I go here, should be able to paste it here. Right, so here we have. And let's say delete. Okay, so right, the above image shows the architecture of the final application deployed to Cloudways. Now I can also say here that we should have sign I think this should be set heading 2. Heading 2. For deployment. And here we can provide the link as well. So let's see if I can find it. And we paste it right here. Oi! Delete it. Paste as plain text. What is it doing? So we go here first, we try to implement this. No. This should be link. Okay. Quickly add that. Then we also share this as well. Okay, it's trying to do something. Cannot retrieve. I think that's fine if you don't really want to have the link there. Visual settings, anchor, reset text formatting, copy to clipboard, delete. How can I say not to sign up? I can maybe add a link right here. And we go with pasting a link here. Here, I think we could add a block code. Okay. And then this is the second one. Right. How you feel about this tutorial series? Always. All right, I think this looks good. I did have to change some stuff compared to what Gemini said, but I think it's not too bad. Let's remove this. I think we don't really need those images as well. And we delete this guy. Then we also delete this guy as well. Still thinking. Start with the first video here. And we point down. And we change part 1, Angular and NestJS. And we link it with the first one, which is this one. Copy the link from here, paste the link right here, save it, and let's have a look. Good. I think we can do next. We can say all free subscribers. We can say next as well. Start building a full stack e-commerce app with Angular and NestJS. Free tutorial, right? So we also had likes and comments. We say next. Show thumbnail on top of the web. Yes. Maybe we can let AI generate it. Learn to build a full stack e-commerce app with Angular, NestJS, and more. Master. Okay, I think looks good. Then we have this guy. This is going to be featured as well. So we review it. We also preview it as well. So it's going to look like this. I don't see the image. Yeah, there we go. So we have the image here as well. Then we have the mobile view here as well. And then the email looks like this. And desktop. All right, I think we're good. So we schedule and then we send it actually now. Publish now, publish now. I think we're good. Share to LinkedIn. Cello says, I'm a little confused with deployments in general. Is the entire repo uploaded or just the app's disk folder? Deployment on clouds, on Cloudbase or in general? Do you mean deployment that I've shown in the tutorial or in general. Here we could also say, I think what we could do is, it has been quite a long time I haven't focused too much on the LinkedIn. All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's do a raised hands, so to say. And we say will be Angular, da 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 da. Then we don't have to add this one. We don't need to have this. Part 2 is this one. And then part 3 is coming soon. Okay. So we copy the links. This is the part 1. Copy this guy. Then we go to the second part. And we paste it right here. And then we pick the first part and then put it right here as well. Let's try this out now. And my camera just, let's see. I'm gonna change the batteries. Cloudways. When you go to Cloudways, it essentially uploads the whole repository. But what gets deployed is, it depends on when you talk about deployment, what does it mean? So ideally what Cloudways does is that it has to download your whole repository. I think we looked at it before as well. Where is my warp? So here we have it, right? So if I do something like SSH, let's see if I can get the tabs correctly. Let's try this. I'm gonna get the email now. Where's my email? Where is my email? Haven't received it yet. Now I have. Cloudways. So it's actually So let's try to look at the server. So here we have the server right here. We got this guy here. Then we copy password. We go to warp. We paste here. Now, when you see here, we have applications, and in here you'll see this thing called Git repo, right? So when you work with the Git repo, and by that I mean when you have the application created here like this, then you go with deployment via Git. So the way Cloudways works at the moment is you need to fetch from a particular branch and then pull. When you do this, it essentially goes ahead and puts everything inside the Git repo. This part is sort of read only, so this is not the deployment thing, right? Then when you go a bit outside of it and you go to public HTML, this is where Cloudways deploys it. So Cloudways does it in 2 steps, as far as I've understood. It first pulls the changes, puts it in the Git repo, and this file in and Git repo is not changeable, so you don't have access to it. But you can do stuff in public HTML. So if you go to public HTML and do ls, you can see all of these things here. So you have the exact same thing. You have apps, you have Angular. So it's essentially the same thing. Just preset.ts, all of that. Sorry, just preset.js. So all of these things are essentially here as well, right? This is where you can run or build the application from, because all Cloudways does so far what I've seen is it allows you to clone GitHub repositories within your project, and then it's up to you how you build the application or how you set those things up, because all it does is to provide you a Linux distribution, and you have a Linux server, and then from there you can do whatever you want. You could also just do it yourself as well. For example, you could sign into Git here, create an personal access token, or have like how you create the SSH key, and then add that to GitHub, and then do it all by yourself. But I find it much easier to just do fetch, pull, and then it is in my application here, and then I can just do further stuff there. So I find it a bit easier than doing everything myself. I think they don't really allow at the moment to have something like Git hooks that you could have. But if you did it yourself or you implement yourself, the Git process of pulling and then deploying, then you could also just automate the deployment. So whenever there's a code push, it could essentially look into that as well. But regardless, the public HTML is where you would have all the projects. So what you were confused about, which was, do you upload the whole repository or just the dist folder? No, you upload essentially all your code. So whenever you push your code, you're going to go ahead here and then you're going to pull it. When you pull the changes, then it comes here and then it does all of the magic. So then you have the whole repository, then you need to build it yourself, and then you need to deploy it as well. Now, what we could do is I could look into, I'm not really sure if we have the Git status. So here you can see there's no Git status. So you need to pull, it copies it here. So we don't have an automated way of doing it at the moment. However, you can temporarily create your own script here that can run this stuff. So for example, if there was a script, an SH script that I could create, I would build the applications and then run them on PM2. That's what I would do to automate this stuff. So I don't have to do it every single time. So things like moving the env file to the apps folder, which I think I did in the previous tutorial. So if you go here, you have the env file here, as you can see right here. I think you can't see it. I'm gonna remove the message. So you have the env here. You need to copy it and paste it to the dist folder. So if you go to dist, I think I have it here as well. Yeah, so you have the env file here, and then you run the process as well. So I think right now I'm running both of the process. So the backend and the front end are working at the moment, as you can see here. So yeah, hope that makes sense. Salu says, okay, cool, thanks, no problem. Adil says, are there any good alternatives of Google Maps API? I think there's something called Leaf Map or something that is also okay, but I don't think anything is as good as the Google Maps. This guy is saying something that I don't have any idea, so I'm gonna remove that. Adil says, I've been working on a startup idea. It's a marketplace like OLX, but we handle the entire process for buyers and sellers, pickup, delivery, verifications, etc., making it easier to buy and sell used items. Okay, used products anywhere in India. I'm currently planning the MVP and feeling a bit stuck. How do I decide which features to include in the MVP, which ones to leave for later? It's a bit hard for me to say, but I think in general the principle should be you ask your users. So you reach out to them, you say which features would you want, or are there any things. And even though when you reach out to those people, if you reach out to 10 people, it's possible that all of them ask for different things. Now that's also not going to be your MVP. You need to see what brings you money in the short run and allows the users that you have on the platform survive uh, with the feature set that you have. For example, messaging within, let's say, the platform is a feature, for example, for a marketplace like Amazon has it. So you can send a message to the seller, and then if there's a dispute, etc., then you could handle that as well. Now, if you don't want to have a messaging system within the whole platform, you can actually have a way of just sharing the email, for example, so they can communicate via email, or sharing the WhatsApp number. So you don't have to implement the whole feature within your MVP. Similarly, the dispute management system, I don't think you need to have that within the platform itself. You could just share an email of contacting us or something, where you, the platform owner, can handle the dispute. So those are the things that you could definitely ignore. So a lot of things are just nice to have. So you need to identify the time you're spending on a particular feature and the value it's going to bring, and how many people are actually going to use that particular feature. So you also need to see if what you're building is part of the regular user journey of their everyday use. If it's not, then it's just a nice to have. I hope that makes sense. All right. Mm-mm-mm-mm. By the way, did you see the video of Gemini, my vibe coding example video? So the full video of this, when I built this and how I used Gemini 2.5 to actually go from this place where I had custom CSS. We had a bunch of other things as well, like custom CSS, custom tailwind CSS classes for creating components like these buttons, and a mix of CSS variables, etc. So going from this state where I have, I don't know, weird CSS to actually something that's beautiful, I'm going to show you in just a bit. But in here, I had like a mess. And we moved from that to using Daisy UI, purely Daisy UI, across the application. And as far as I remember, I didn't have to code a single line of code as well. So let's see. So from this, where you can see, and here you can also see that the delete button doesn't have enough padding. It's a weird spacing in this menu, looks super weird. Then you go here, this one looks super weird as well. Like, where is this S going in terms of the menu? It's like all the way here. And now, and this was the place where you could add tasks here in this particular list. So you can see how this looks at the moment. And then this was the share dialog. So as I said, I was at a point where it was a mess with CSS, and that is because I was migrating from Angular 14 to Angular 19, which I did successfully. But I also wanted to implement Tailwind CSS 4 instead of 3 and Daisy UI. So when I added a bunch of stuff, all the styles started conflicting. So from this, we went to this, and you can see how beautiful this looks now. So we have nice buttons, and I moved the add task, tasks list, and share to the top with these buttons. So you can see when I click add task, this is a modal that shows up. This is much nicer. I could actually have some spacing here, but you can still see how this looks. So we add a test task, and then you can see that we add right here. And now we can also delete from here. And when we go and click share, this is a modal that shows up. You can see how nice this looks compared to what we had before without writing a single line of code. And then when you see this particular menu, it looks like this now. Pretty nice. And this is the settings page. So we also fixed this as well. And the beauty of changing everything from custom CSS and custom Tailwind CSS classes to Daisy UI is this. You can essentially use any theme from Daisy UI, and the whole application adopts to it if you're using the Daisy UI variables and you're not relying on anything external. So if I change the theme here, you're going to see how the whole application transfers or transforms. So you see I changed this to Cupcake, and you see the whole app shifts. The menus change, the buttons change, everything starts looking differently, and it adopts to the whole interface of Daisy UI. So it's like the user can basically choose. If I allow the user to choose if I allow the user to choose the theme here, they can decide what kind of clock they want to have, and that's super nice. So the full video of this on how I coded, where I got stuck, how I tried to use Gemini 2.5 Pro to reason with it, which sort of suggestions from the model I rejected completely, what other alternatives I suggested to Gemini, and how I did basically the AI based coding. So the video was recorded yesterday and hopefully should come out soon. Adil says, I'm using NestJS in frontend and Node Express in the backend. Why are you using Node Express and not really using the NestJS APIs? So in NestJS, you have the possibility of doing both frontend and backend, right? So if you use NestJS, you can essentially create the API routes there as well. Is there a particular reason you're using Express as well? By that I mean, why not use NestJS completely? If that makes sense. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. There's so many scams happening actually. I'm gonna remove these spam. Stop seeing their messages. Delete message. Deleted. Block. Done. Show me this again. Good. Not too bad. And then we delete as well. Salu says analog also looks cool. Yes, absolutely. I haven't actually explored it, to be honest. I've seen other people use it, but I've not done it myself. Have you built something with analog for production yet? Let's share this. Share this as well. Okay, thank you for blocking those ads. Let's see, remove it. By the way, do you want to try some sounds that play in my machine? For example, if you try to type sounds, exclamation sounds, what does it say? So you see in the chat we have these sounds. If you type any command from these, you will actually play a sound in my machine. I'm not really sure if you have seen that. So here, if I try to close this and show you this sound app, we have all these sounds that you could play. We built this in one of the past streams. Also, I might work on a mobile application for this in the future, so wanted to keep the backend separate for better scalability. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. I'm not really sure where it would conflict with just being Next.js, because the API routes could also go on edge as well with Next.js. Could scale well as well, I think. But okay, I understand. Express could be a bit lighter. Salu says, I'm just theory due to disability. Okay, but it would be a great topic to explore. Yeah, interesting. It would be nice. It would be nice to see what people are building with analog. I know Brandon is working on it quite a lot. I do want to also look into... Oi, oi, oi. Let's see. What were we looking into? The sounds. So I think what we can do in the meantime is maybe look into the rest of the tutorial. I might have to go actually pretty soon, but we will see. Does the stream have some way? I'm gonna check if I can show something. For example, if I go to focus.dodo.app, here we have the application deployed actually. But I want to see if I share this, would it be possible for me to display that on the stream? If I go with, where is it? Design, and if I say overlay, and if I hit play, no, it doesn't allow me to add overlay or browser overlays here. No, I don't see it. I could do it from OBS, but I can't really do it on. Let me see if I can try to presentation, video storage, screen share, image, extra camera. No. Video storage, screen share. No. If I say replace screen sharing, no, that's not also what I want to do. Okay, let's ignore that. So what we can do, I think, in the meantime, while we are here, is first of all, not maybe showing any env variables for sure, because we don't want that. We could actually explore this. So we did some things in the checkpoint one final. I want to go and do the same thing with checkpoint 2, if I remember correctly. Git checkout checkpoint 2, because this is what I'm working on now. So this actually would have to rebase from checkpoint 1 final. Git checkout be git rebase checkpoint 1 final. Okay, that's good. So we should have everything that checkpoint 1 has, plus other things as well. Let's have a look at the git history as well. So here, this is the 2, okay, and this is where we have process for front end. Okay, not too bad. I want to see the branches as well. Git branches. Oh, git branch. We do have checkpoint 3 as well. What is in checkpoint 3? That's interesting. We start with checkpoint 1 in the video 2, and then we start with checkpoint 2 in the video 3, if I remember correctly. If I look at the list here, no, we can remove these for sure. Now if I do, okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the git repo. So here we can essentially try to compare checkpoint 2, no, checkpoint 1 final, and checkpoint 2. Nothing to compare. Let me quickly push the code so we know what we're talking about. Git checkout push, no, git push. So let's try this again. So nothing to see here. Let's have a look at the branch itself. Branches, checkpoint final backup. I don't think we need it anymore. I'm gonna delete that. So we have one final, and checkpoint 2 essentially should be the same as checkpoint 1 final. Kind of makes sense. They should be the same. Then let's have a look at get checkpoint 3. Check out checkpoint 3. Kind of. Yeah, this is a bit up, so we need to rebase this from checkpoint 2. So git checkout or git rebase checkpoint 2. This is where we could have some we could have some conflicts. Okay, no conflicts. Good. So we're gonna push this now. Salo says, I saw a new VS Code extension the other day called Web Native. It looks quite handy. I've also noticed that not many developers seem to use the VS Code debugger. Do you know why that is? No, to be honest. I try to use it majorly when I'm working with something related to Node.js. But apart from that, I just use the browsers one. But what do you use the VS Code debugger for? Is it for Node.js processes, or is it even for web as well? So we're gonna try to compare this with checkpoint 2. Let it be EE. Interesting. Okay, what do we have here that changed? Launch JSON. Yeah, we added the backend here because we started looking into that. We got some Prisma migrations. Good, goody, good. We added the cascading as well. Yes. We also added, or we fixed. No, we added the cancellation here as well. Yes. We added the order deletion response. This, and this is, by the way, the third part of the tutorial. So I'm still working on it. Hopefully this should be finished soon. Then we have the scripts here. Start BE. We got the update order right here. Good. All right, I think this is good enough. So let's start both the applications. And if I go here, I can say annex serve pet market PE. Selu says, I used to be C#, so it seems a bit weird not to use the IDs. Ah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I understand where you're coming from. The hardcore IDE debuggers. All right, let's see. Okay, so this is the backend. Let's start the front end as well. I would have to take like I'm gonna stand now. Maybe also walk. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Salu says, I see it makes sense to see all the info through browser through including CSS. Exactly, yes. I think the for JavaScript it's probably useful, but yeah, not for other things. I'm gonna quickly start the walking machine. By the way, is anyone planting or gardening this year? I've gotten a few things. I've gotten this guy that my wife got for me, like the small bonsai kind of tree. And this is usually on my table. But I have no clue when it's not really healthy. So I try to not water it quite a lot. I read somewhere that it doesn't really like quite a lot. But I do have some capsicums starting pretty soon. That you see probably you see a table right there. So I have some plants there. Salu says I think I remember NX coming out with the setting to auto start the dependent app like a NestJS backend instead of doing it manually. Ah, good point. Good point. NX dependent app. I think it's something like depends on. Yeah, here. So we have depends on production and production. Hmm. Depends on. Where did it go? New complex instances for task pipeline. Monoliths typically do not have dependencies among projects, but also among tasks. Let's say you have a Remix app that depends on some shared UI. Whenever you build or serve your app, shared UI gets built before. This requires especially package-based monorepo. Okay, in the next JSON by specifying the target defaults property. Okay. Hmm. 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 Let's see. Here's the article, I think. Tserve. But this is not what I wanted. Run many. No. That's not the thing, right? Salu says, yes, gardening. I just harvested a heap of purple potatoes. Ooh, purple potatoes. I've never seen those. Interesting. The NX setting may not be out yet. Would be nice though. Yeah. I know the build process is usually there for some of some of the situations, but I don't think it's all there. Um. Mm, 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 mm. External dependencies. No, I don't think. But yeah, we could run. I'm gonna skip it for now. But we do have the app running. Let's see. 4200. Mm-mm-mm-mm. So we got this right here. Brazilian MMA legend says, "Bro, your teaching style is so good and effective. One of the best approaches I've ever seen." Okay, thank you. How do you training programs you organize? Via email. I don't know if the person wants me to. Wait a second. Do you? Let's see. Okay, so this is what we built last time, and we also did some more changes as well, like removing. Should we start with? I think we should start with the homepage template as well. So this was the other one. So what we should do is we're gonna try to take the homepage component and get that out of the way. So we had app controller. No, this is the backend. We should have the front end here. So app, and then we should have home HTML, and then we have the TypeScript here as well. So we need to copy this guy. Let's go to our application. We're gonna also go to the pet market assets. Pet market assets. So close this guy, close all of this. Now we have the web source app. We should have the home folder here. So let's create one. Home. Let's create the home component.html, and then we paste this guy. We need a minimal HTML in this case. So source app home component, and I'm gonna bring it a bit down, and instead of this we write this. Now let's see if this cries for anything. I don't see any errors so far, at least not in the IDE. So you see something is not correct here. Maybe it's the Angular language server that's not really working. Could be. Let's start and see if that comes to senses. But in here, what do we want? We want to have the product store loading. We have to have product store error. Okay. We have products here, product store products. Then we have add to cart, and then a bunch of other things, right? This is the back end, this is the front end. Okay. Now what I want to do is to also have, let's save this, and let's also copy. So are there any styles? No. So we just have to have the add to cart and all of this. So let's quickly go to I'm going to say home.component.ts, and I think this is probably better for just doing it faster. Otherwise it could take a lot of time and we don't focus on the right things then. So this is what it should look like. Cart store, no. Product store, no. So we should have something like product store and then cart store, like this. Then we should have a load featured products. which we don't have. So I'm gonna actually save this, and we have something here, but we don't need to worry about that. Let's go and see the application. So if I refresh now and go to home, you see we have the welcome to pet e-commerce. We have some featured products here as well, but we show basically all of them, which is not what we want. So if I go here in the home component, we get all this. And the fun fact is, if I refresh here, we're not going to see anything at all. Because we got the products here, now we can see that in the home. So that's not what we want. So what we want here is loading feature products. So let's have a quick, what I'm going to do is first copy this thing to pet market assets like this. So we can go by that, save that. Okay, then we look into the load feature products. So let's go back to here and then load feature products. So in this case, we go and go to the product store. We have load products, search products, and we add one more thing here. That should be load feature products. Then we should also have this get feature products as well, which should be implemented here. So if I go up here, we have search products, and then we go with get featured products. So we have featured passing boolean. Then we have this right here. I think we should not be using watch, but instead query. So here we're doing query, variables feature true, pipe map, and we are doing subscribe here as well. Someone said that we could use something called the Rx method instead of using subscribe. Should we look into it? I don't know if it's worth it to increase the complexity of the application itself. Well, let's see Rx method. I want to see. Signals interacts Rx method. Okay. I want to see an example of Rx method. Okay, RxJS is still okay. Rx method is a standalone factory that function that designed for managing side effects by utilizing RxJS APIs. Okay, so you import Rx method, then what do you do here? You say Rx. Go back. Go back. All right. So here you say Rx method, and then you just do a pipe. The standalone factory function designed for managing side effects by utilizing Rx. It takes a chain of RxJS operator as input and returns a reactive method. The reactive method can accept a static value, a signal, or observable as an argument system. Input can be typed by providing a generic argument to Rx method function. Okay. Log double number. What do you do with this then? Then you can call it. Okay, so reactive method is called with a signal. The reactive chain is executed every time the signal value changes. Okay. When the reactive method is called with an observable, the reactive chain is executed every time the observable emits a new value. Okay. Kind of makes sense. When we go with API calls, what does it do? So load book by ID. So it just goes ahead and does this. Then when you call this, okay, so you don't really need to call subscribe in that case. Interesting. Interesting. Let's try that. Salu says, I have an aversion to subscribe. Okay, makes sense, yes. Let's try to use RxJS then. Oh, sorry, Rx method then. in our code base. So let's quickly import this from RxJS interop. I'm gonna import it in product store and then maybe in the cart store as well. And I'm gonna have to leave quite soon as well. So let's see. So when we do search product Apollo query, I think we can maybe even for load products here, we can maybe do something like return Rx method, and it takes also the type as well, right? So when we do a watch query, we have a products watch query here as well. So let's see. And in here, we can pass it like this. Now, what does it say here? Parameter of type this provides no match of the signature source of observable unknown. Okay. Observable of Apollo query result this. Okay. Observable Apollo query result with all of this. Updated, which is essentially our products, is not assignable to source unknown and observer. Okay, so I think we just need to say this, that it's gonna be an Apollo query result of this guy, if I'm correct. No, products blah blah blah. Argument of type observable. What am I missing? I'm missing something. Let's revert this so I can see what I'm doing wrong. All right, so here all it requires is to have a pipe, but shouldn't it also allow me to do other things as well? So here we have, okay, so it has to start with pipe. Is that so? No, so in here it says exhaust map. It starts with an operator and then goes all the way with that. Okay. So maybe I have not understood it correctly. So this is the API call. It comes with the Rx method, filters concat map, and then takes it there. Then I think what it probably wants me to do is to use a pipe. Then I do switch map. Then I go with this guy. Then we go with a tab. And then we remove the subscribe. Yeah, not too many errors now. Let's try this out now. I'm gonna look into that as well. So on the home page, let's double check if this works as expected. So I'm on the products page right now. Okay. If I refresh now, do I get the products or do I not get the products? It says loading. I don't see an API call yet. Let's see if I refresh now. It just says loading, but it never makes the API call, right? So you are saying the on init. We should have, and we are looking at the products page now. So in the products page, when we do the after next render, we do start with the search subject having a debounce and then using search products here. And we don't really do on init. Oh, sorry, we do it here. So we do constructor and then we do the load products here, which should do this ideally. So it says the loading to true, but it returns a method I think which is what I am not doing correctly, right? I think it should be like this. It should actually be something like this. Let's see. I think I think I understand now. So we change this back. Sorry, we change this back. We add one more thing. So here we say something like load products new, right? And then we set it to RxJS method like this, right? We also have to update this thing first as well. So I'm gonna copy this. We're gonna set this here and then do it like this. Now I'm gonna rename this to old and then remove the new part from here. Let's see if this makes it work. So now it's trying to say load products, but it wants us to provide an input. Interesting. I saw something without inputs here, without arguments. So here we have Rx method void. Aha, okay, interesting. Do I have to go here and say Rx method void? And yeah, now it seems happy. Aha, the signal store webhooks on in it. No, I'm not really doing that. I think we only do that when the component requires it, or when the component calls it. Because I think as soon as the store is initialized, we probably don't need it at that point. So now if I try to refresh, let's see if this works. Okay, so it works. So if I come here and refresh now, you can see that the Rx method approach actually seems fine. So we could go to product store and convert the other things to Rx method as well. So for example, this one was using like this. Then we could have search products as well. Let's actually call this old. We're gonna copy this and let's actually try to do this like this. Search products, and this takes a term, so it's gonna be Rx method that takes a string, right? And then it starts with a pipe, starts with a switch map, then it has the magic here. So maybe I could do it like this, and there should be term, string. Rx resource also looks nice as it handles the is loading error, etc. True, yes, that would be interesting to see as well. But I didn't want to go into that because it's not production ready by default. But we could use it, yes. But we can also see one example maybe here. So we pipe it, switch map, and then we add these as well right after. Right, so it looks good overall. We don't have to do subscribe, which means now if I save this, the search also should be working. So we save, then we say cat, there we go. So the search is also working nicely as well. And let's see, so we have shifted that one as well, and now we can also shift this guy as well. And we can say load featured products, and here we can say old. So we can do the same thing here. It's gonna have Rx method with void, and then we can define here pipe, switch map, and we go ahead and give this guy. So this comes in, and then we have the pipe and catcher. There we go. I like it actually. That way we don't really have to work with subscribes at all. So then if I go to home and refresh now, it doesn't get anything at the moment. And what I can do is I can then remove this guy. I can remove the search products old, and I can remove the load products as well. I like this. I like this much more. Then when we come here, we can do load feature products as well for the home component. And now it fails. It says the GraphQL API could not make it work. I think that's because we are trying to do a call with featured variable, which doesn't exist, or get feature product essentially doesn't really exist at the moment. So let's create that in the backend. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the backend here. We're going to go to products, and we should have a resolver here as well. And we have search products here, and then we can also say, I think we can also use the argument here in the find all when we try to do that, if I remember correctly. So here, if I go to the backend, source, app, products, product resolver, I'm pretty sure, yeah. So we have the argument here that says featured, and we have the nullable true here. So let's quickly add this guy. So we go inside find all, we add this featured here, and then we also pass the featured as an object here, feature. Then our service should be able to accept it as well. So here we should have config. So if I go to find all, we should have this right here. And where are we defining this? So we are defining it right here. So in this case, when we have the find config, if it has feature, then we use it, otherwise we don't. So so we go here and we say the find many is gonna have where clause, and if we have config.featured, then we use config.featured. Otherwise, or we could just use undefined. Is it sorry, is featured. My bad. So then it's gonna be is featured true, or we do undefined. So we save this guy, we save the products resolver as well, and that should update our GraphQL schema, which should be right here. And if I look at the query of products, you can see it automatically updated the featured boolean now. So we should be good. Now if I go back to my application, refresh now, yay, let's go. So we only got back the 4 featured that we got back. And we can also look into the query as well. So if I refresh now, we got the GraphQL, and we got just the ones that are featured. Having, oh, but we don't really send back is featured. That's interesting. Interesting. Maybe we could also send back that in this regard as well. So when we send back find all, why is it not shown? I think it's quite possible that we are processing it somewhere. Maybe in the front-end web, if I am correct. Source, app, services, not that, stores, product store. Once we get back the data, what do we do? I think in the GraphQL query, we don't really get the is featured. Here. So you see here, we don't really get the is featured. So once we do so, And that is the beauty of GraphQL. You don't need to update the backend call. And now if I look at that, you can see it's featured is here already. Yeah, you have to love GraphQL for this. So now we have this featured here as well. All right. So now that we have done this, what else is remaining? So we will implement, yeah, I have to implement the Firestore side of this as well. I have to implement adding Firebase authentication. I also have to implement having the authentication on the front end and in the back end on the server as well. Once we are done with that, I think the only thing that would be remaining would be to show the user's orders. And after that, we are actually done. Yeah, then we should be good. Alrighty, I think I'm going to sign off. I'm going to see what my kid is doing at the moment. And I'm going to see you next time. Thank you everyone who has joined us today and asked questions and engaged within the chat. As always, happy coding. I'm going to see you next time. Have a rest of your weekend as happy as you can. Take care. And I'm going to see you next week, hopefully on Saturday as well. I'm going to announce the time earlier as well. So have fun. Take care.